Ho, 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 saplings.
That's awesome.
Hi, Andy.
You just offended people.
I don't care.
You say Happy Christmas, you offend people. Ho, 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 you offend people.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. It just doesn't seem to
Wait, if I say Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, I offend the atheists.
Yes.
If I say ho, 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 I offend the Christians.
If you say Happy Christmas, you just offend everybody.
I've got all these Christmas trees with no ornaments.
I know, and I love it, as you well know.
It's a Christmas tree farm.
Beautiful. This is a perfect segue into where we want to go today.
Oh, yeah? Perfect segue into Malachi?
Malachi.
Hey, guys.
Yes.
Santa, Christmas trees, and Malachi.
We
They
got
all
it.
go together.
This is fantastic. Are you ready? You want me to tie them all in
Do you know what it
together?
reminds me of?
What?
Should I say it?
Are you going to get me in trouble? Probably.
Maybe, yeah, never mind.
Okay. Are you ready to do some reading?
Yes.
All right.
Where?
I need you to read 8 through 12 for me.
8 through 12 of what chapter?
Chapter 3. Sorry. So, hey.
Just in Malachi.
Yes. Malachi, chapter 3.
8 through
6. Let's do 6 through 12. Let's do more.
Oh my gosh.
People are so surprised whenever I do more.
6 through 12.
Yippers, here we go.
God speaking here. Ready? For I am the Lord. I guess I didn't need to say that.
It's okay.
It's the end of the day, saplings. Can you tell? For I am the Lord. I change not. Well, we don't have to go any further.
Nope.
Do you want me to, though?
Well, listen, if you're going to go back there and get stuck, then get stuck there and we'll just make another one.
Nope. Not doing it. Not going to go on that rant. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
I love it. I could get stuck there all day. The reason that God's wrath, right, does not come down on us, right? God's discipline does, but God's wrath doesn't, is because he never changes and he keeps his promises. Imagine if we were like that. Imagine if the reason that my wrath never fell on you, your wrath never fell on me, our wrath never fell on other people we're listening to. Imagine if we never went on any rants, right? Because we don't change. Right? Yeah. The truth is we get stuck in Paul's world where we know what we should do, but we don't do it, right? We don't do the things we want to do. We do the things we don't want to do. Like we come in here every day purposed to not rant, purposed to be Christ-like, right? But the truth is situations, emotions, everything changes.
Well, the problem is we should change. Mm-hmm. God doesn't need to change. We should.
Sure. We need to become more Christ-like, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that the second something changes, the second our parameters or comfortability level changes, well then we change. Mm-hmm. And that's the deal. God never gets uncomfortable.
No, why should he?
No. And that's why he can be consistent.
Right.
There's no situation.
There's no surprises.
Right. Yep. No surprise.
No surprises. Can't surprise God. Can't shock him. He's seen it all.
Right. And
he sees what it will be.
That's the deal. He stands outside of time. So he knows the exact moment that something happens, what the outcome of that's going to be. And he knew it before it happened. So he sees it all and nothing changes him. No ugly words I say, no things I do, nothing I think has God going, oh, I wasn't ready for that. Right? He never, ever, ever reacts to something. That's you and I have been talking about this, right? God pronounces his judgment on things. He warns us and he warns us and he warns us and he warns us. God never gets up in heaven and just reacts to something. He warns us about stuff, right? He warns us ahead of time. Even with the Ananias and Sapphira thing, which seems to be a God reactionary thing.
Well, and the times that Moses is like, whoa, God, time out. Remember? Like, because God's, like, angry.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, no, don't destroy them all. Don't, God, remember this, remember that.
Sure. But God still, it's not reactionary like mine, right? God has warned people, don't do this.
Right.
Don't do this, don't do this. And
well, that's why he's angry.
That's exactly right. And so God doesn't change, but we do change, and we react poorly to situations. And how many times do we look at somebody and we have this glow in our eyes, right? And we say, I'm going to love you forever. I love you. There's nothing you could do that would ever make me not love you. And then 5 minutes later, we're yelling at them. I think of that with kids all the time. We're telling kids, oh, there's nothing you could say to me or do to me that would ever make me love you less.
Well, yeah, but our love's an emotion, not an action.
Right.
God has both.
Yep. God doesn't change because God isn't based on an emotion. It's not based on feeling.
No, it's just based on the definition of him. He is love.
Yeah. Yep. That's
he can't change.
But that's what Paul encourages us. Jesus encourages us. Be consistent. Be consistent. Be more consistent. Right? Work on being consistent, because it's all this stuff. The enemy knows he's counting on it. The enemy's counting on, if I can give you this, if I can give you this, how often do we say to each other, hey, listen, that's an attack from the enemy. Pray against it, right? We'll say to other people, pray against that, pray against that, pray against that.
And then it works on us 5 minutes later.
And then it does. Right? We tell people, you're not sick, pray about that. But then when we get sick, it's the end of the world.
Oh, help!
Right. We tell people, hey, that's an attack. If it's an attack, it can be attacked against. Right? We can withstand the attacks, but we give in to the attacks.
It's very true.
All right. Are we moving on?
Yeah.
All right.
That was a short stuck.
That's not a short stuck.
All right, ready?
Because the next verse goes with that.
Even from the days of your fathers, ye are gone away from my ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return?
All right, so you put all this together, right? And the problem is, we change because we turn from the statutes of God. Mm-hmm. We know the good that we should do, we don't do it. We know what God requires, and we don't do it, right? We know that God requires mercy, to do justly, right? And walk humbly with your God. We know that. Micah tells us those are the things. Those aren't, hey, if you want to, right? Embrace mercy when you want to. You need to love these things. Love mercy. You need to be about these things. But instead, depending on the situation, we decide that we're not going to do that. We turn from the statutes of God. God says, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, we decided that we can define who our neighbor is.
Yeah, and what love is.
Exactly. Right? And
so basically just be nice to whoever you feel like.
Exactly.
Whoever deserves it in that moment.
And this is what gets us off track, right? We get off track because we turn from the statutes of God. We don't take them seriously. You and I have been talking a lot lately about the fact that I don't think I'm taking things serious enough, right? I know the enemy works. I know he attacks. I know these things. I know what God does. I know all the stuff. But I think sometimes we think we're just playing this fun game, right? It's the difference between being in a real war and playing an arcade war game.
Right.
I can shut it off at any time. I can restart it on the arcade. You can't go do that when it's life and death for real. Right? We need to make sure that we're taking it seriously. People are dying all around us.
Literally.
And we know the answer to that is more prayer, more intercessory prayer, more living right, more doing all these things. And instead, we're always reactionary praying. Listen, if you have a loved one right now and you're not praying on the front side for them, you're doing them a disservice. Because we need to be praying up people before they get in a hospital, before we get the phone call that says they're in trouble.
Amen.
But we don't do those things. And the statutes tell us we should be seeking God every morning. We should be seeking Him every single night. We need to remind people in the morning, hey, this is what it means to love people. And we need to remind people at night, hey, did you love people right today? Right? But instead, we're just going through the day and we're not covering ourselves with the armor. We're not reminding each other what the fruit is. We're not doing all of these kind of things because we're busy doing for God. The number one thing that I can do for people is bring them to God.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough. It's hard enough to remember to do it for ourselves. Like, literally, we struggle remembering to cover ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, how many times am I like, we forgot to pray?
Yep.
You know, before anything. And, like, even, like, I am down to, I don't want to say paranoid, just down to the, like, every time I get in the car, I'm like, God, I need a bubble around this car. You know, like, I need every single thing I do. I'm just like, even if I go in the shower to pray, I'm like, God, put a bubble around my shower so the enemy can't hear. Like, you know, everything. Like, it's so exhausting. It's exhausting. And then, then you got to add in all the people. And it's hard.
It's super hard because, again, if we're not up 24/7, the enemy finds the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He finds the moment at 11:26 at night when we're exhausted to put the thought in our mind that then has us up the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And it's not up praying, it's up being stressed and worrying. And
right. He has
hopefully
us
it leads to prayer.
He has us looking at the checkbook at night and going, how are we going to pay tomorrow for these things? Well, that's not tomorrow yet. Right? But again, we know what we need to do. We know the good we need to do, but we can't get there. Why? Because we turn away from the statutes, not just the law, the statutes of God, the things that God is about. Right? Like, these are the things that God says. I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to forsake you. Yet I spend a good portion of my time feeling like God has left me and forsaken me. I'm not standing on the statute. Right? God says, I'm going to work all things out for your good. So it doesn't matter what happens today, tomorrow, what's happened in the past. He's going to work it all out. That doesn't mean that I go attempt to do anything I want to do so that he can work it all out.
Don't test that theory.
But what it means is, why am I worrying about tomorrow and borrowing from tomorrow when I need to be about today? Right? This is what I need to be. And I know all these statutes, but it's hard to live them out because the enemy just keeps us thinking about what we don't have and what we don't have, or how what we have right now isn't good enough, and all of these things. God says very clearly I like to make it personal. God says, Andy, Fred, I've given you everything you need for this day. And if there was a single thing more you needed, I'd give it to you. Right? So that means the people in my life, the situations with those people in my life, that means every single thing has been placed in today what I need. And anything that I don't need, he hasn't given. Right? So I have everything to be successful for today, but I'm worried about tomorrow. God, are you going to give me this tomorrow? Are you going to give me this tomorrow? Are you going to give me this tomorrow? Is tomorrow the day that you're going to give it to me? No, today I have everything I need, right? That's super convicting at the moment. So we should probably be done for the day.
I agree.
It's a good thing we agree on that.
Oh. Saplings. God doesn't change. God doesn't move. God doesn't trick us. God's not looking for some, secret thing, and he doesn't get emotional and just change his opinion. That's us. So just remember him. Mm-hmm. Don't forget God. Don't forget his anything. Don't forget his promises, his laws, his statutes, his commandments, his anything. Yep. His word. Remember it all. And just repent. Just seek God. Remember he's there, and it's never going to change. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it, saplings.
Well done.
God doesn't change from the Old Testament or the New Testament or any other time.
Ooh.
Yeah, how about that? Controversial.
Yeah.
All right, saplings. We love you. Have a great week.